and try to get into the fourth quarter with an opportunity to win the game. And that's what we worked hard on Oklahoma State doing. We got there. We weren't able to finish it. But this is a good football team we're playing now. They really run the ball, wear you down. It'll be unique, and it'll be a lot of fun. Our players will enjoy it. It'll be a great atmosphere, big, huge stadium, nice and loud. And, I think we've got to go enjoy the experience and play as hard as we possibly can and see what happens.
How much do you anticipate enjoying it, going back there, and just memories coming back to you this week, or just how's that?
Yeah, I think we'll see when I get there. Right now, what I'm going to do is just focus on the week and the preparation and what our players need to do. I'm sure there'll be some feelings and emotions when I step in the stadium, but it's really not about me. It's about our football team, and we've got guys on our team that have worked extremely hard, people that have been here since I first came, guys that we've added to it. But since June, we've been the same team, dedicated and working hard together. So it's really about our players.
Sam Pittman just said at his presser a few minutes ago that in recruiting, they just got in the top 10, and he's using that kind of stuff in recruiting. It's the first time since you were there, and that he's recruiting off those achievements. Your thoughts about maybe their ascension back to maybe close to the heights you had Arkansas at?
Yeah, Sam's done a great job. When you watch him play, and first and foremost, you see that they have deep beliefs in what they're doing. What they're doing offensively, what they're doing defensively. The coaches really believe in it, and the players go out and execute it. And what he's done with that program, he's done a great job.
Have you reflected any on what it took for you to build Arkansas to the top 10 school?
Not really. I've been my time at Arkansas was quite a while ago, and certainly after I left there, I did a lot. But I really haven't thought about it a lot.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit from Bobby Petrino, former Arkansas Razorback head coach. Let's do this. It's the Monday after. That's what I'm going to start calling these games, since I don't do post-game lives Saturday nights here anymore. Those are on Hogville Net YouTube. We're going to do Monday after shows. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Lord, I didn't check my hair. Oh, check the hair. Check the locks, the luscious brown locks. What are they doing? There we go. We're as good as we're going to get, baby. Yo, what's up, everybody? I know this, I didn't post, I didn't share, I didn't give you guys a heads up. Some of you are going to be like, Tuesday morning, you're going to wake up and be like, well, damn it. Why didn't you tell me? I'm not going to lie to you. It kind of hit me on a whim. I was like, I got a little bit of time here, and I wanted to get into the postgame show. Or I wanted to do something sooner than Wednesday like we did last week. We didn't do a postgame until Wednesday here. So, yeah. All right. You guys know the routine. So many regulars come through here. There are also a large percentage of you that are not subscribers. Now, this is a common theme. You get people who they come through, they dig the content, but for whatever reason, they don't subscribe. You should. You should help this independent channel out. Even though I'm at Hogville, I'm still posting content here, baby. Shout out to Apex Tattoo Studio, our newest sponsor here on Tuss Talk with Ty. Also, by the way, you can't see him. Oh, here we go. We got one. The wife, I'm going to say the wife. I was going to say the wife and I, but that's incorrect. My wife busted out the cricket. I've been wanting to do this for a little bit, or is it pronounced cry cut? I don't know. It's spelled weird. But we made these. Check that out. Is that good? Is that showing up on camera? How's that look? Look at that. We got them made. They're not, you don't want the black ones. The black ones are really just to show you kind of what it looks like. Obviously, if you're going to put these on your window, they're going to look like that. They're going to look, you can't really see it. I don't know if you can, but that's what you want, because the black ones obviously wouldn't show up on the back of your winch, on your review, your window, your back window, what I'm trying to say. You'd want the white ones. I got 2 on the back of mine. I slapped them on there. I don't know if I'm going to hand these out at the game or at the tailgates. I don't know if I'm going to – I want to get these to Patreon supporters is what I want to do. How I go about doing that exactly, I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to get people in Discord to give me their home address, but some people may not be comfortable doing that. So, but I will ship these guys. I'll ship them to you. If you're a Patreon supporter, we're going to get more of these made up. If you're in Discord, give me if you feel comfortable privately in a DM, you guys know I'm not going to release your private information, but give me your address and I'll mail you one. There might be a way to do it on Patreon where you don't have to physically give me your address. I don't know. But, yeah, shout out to Patreon supporters. You guys know. We, look at you guys go. Look at that. Got some OGs on there, too. Got some OGs. Tyler Edmondson, Daniel Hadley, Timothy Wysant, George Rector, Randall Hunt, Anthony White, John Goodman, William Watkins, Doug Stubbs, Justin Kipper. I mean, the list goes on. You guys are rock stars. So, right now, we only have 4 made. We got to get more material. This stuff's really not that expensive. Per roll, it's like, I think it's like $13. But they turned out really good. Shout out to my wife. She, I'm telling you, she just, I've got I'm married to an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. I'll tell you that right now. All right. We're going to talk about this. I was going to wait to do the Bobby Petrino thing until Friday, but I really like the tidbits that we got for his, in that video. And I thought, I don't want to wait. I want to get that out. I was going to wait till Friday to show that to you guys. Thought you might dig it. But you know what? Why not today, right? Get it out there today. And it'll make for a good intro to today's show. Ty, how do I get one in Texas? Yeah, again, just – okay. So for those of you what I want to do is I want to give these to the Patreon supporters. Those people have got to come first. If you're a Patreon supporter, hit me up. Of course, I'll double-check your name on Patreon. Make sure, we do have a few people. I had someone try to pull a fast one on me on the Cash App last week. That was pretty funny. Not really, but I got to verify that you're a Patreon supporter. That's who I want to get these in the hands of first, are Patreon supporters. I'm trying to do, you guys, especially during these times of inflation and all this gas prices going up and down, you guys are voluntarily helping this channel out by financially giving out of your own bank account, giving to this show. And without you, this doesn't happen. So I'm trying to feed you guys as much as I can, whether it's in the Patreon, in the Discord, trying to give you guys what I can, or in the means of maybe figuring out a way of how to ship these stickers out. I don't know. We'll figure it out one thing at a time. Merch. I guess it kind of is merch at this point, isn't it? I'm not good at this stuff. I need I need someone that just knows how to deal with the merch side of this stuff. Ty, how do I go about getting one of those kick-ass decals? Again, let me make sure Patreon supporters get them first. Okay, like I said, if you're in the Patreon Discord, or if you're just in Discord but you're in there, give me your address, right? And we'll start there. Officially going to the game. Oh, congratulations, man. Going to the game this weekend. No neck brace, though. Oh, yeah. They're kind of hard to get, right? Just get a hold of a medical supply company. Someone's got to have them. I imagine, though, because it's a medical supply product, it's going to be ridiculously overpriced. Honestly, I think we need A&M to beat Miami, because then if we beat A&M, our resume looks better. Yeah. You did not want them, as fun as it was to watch A&M lose to Appalachian State. Appalachian State. Oh, Appalachian State. As much as it was so fun watching that, it doesn't do much for your resume. That's all I was thinking. I was laughing, having a good time. We have someone in our Discord who picked A&M to go undefeated. He picked A&M to go undefeated and to win the whole thing. Who was someone on ESPN did that. One of the game day guys did that. Which one? Who did it? I find myself not even listening to ESPN or to the game day guys. Someone at ESPN picked them to go to the playoffs. I think they even said they'd win it all. I cannot believe Cannot believe people bought into that hype. I said at the beginning of the year, yeah, I think they should be ranked, but definitely not in the top 10, not in the top 5, maybe somewhere in the top 20, maybe, just because, they did return some pieces. Their defense should be pretty decent, but their quarterback situation was so up in the air. Why anybody thought that it was a good idea to rank them so high is beyond me. And this just goes to show you preseason rankings are bullshit. I have never been a fan of. I understand why they do it. I understand why we have preseason rankings. It's the pageantry of it all. It's setting everything up, right? It's hyping everything up. This is a multi-billion-dollar deal we got going on here in college football land. I get it. It's all a part of it. But it's so ridiculous. And sometimes, look, they're pretty accurate. Sometimes I would argue there are years their top 10 is the AP gets it kind of right, but they always have something like, A&M up way too high or ranking Florida up. I know that wasn't a preseason thing, but they ranked they pushed Florida all the way up to 12th after beating Utah at home. I picked Florida to win that game. You can look on Hogville. That was no one else picked them. I picked them because I liked their chances at home. It's a Pac-12 team versus a SEC team with at the very least, with decent SEC talent. And I like kind of what's going on over there on the offensive side of the ball in some areas. I like the personnel that Florida kind of has to work with. But a Pac-12 school was not going to walk down and walk into the swamp and come away with a win. I just didn't see it happening. And they didn't. And so they got pushed up, right? Well, then what happened? Kentucky goes down there and they beat Florida. So now you have this vicious cycle of teams, and it all stems from preseason rankings. Utah shouldn't have been ranked that high. I don't know. That to me is like your measuring stick. How good are you against SEC teams in their house? How good are you? Can you walk into an SEC school's house and inflict damage and win? Oh, okay. Even though that SEC team may barely be in the top 20, you went in there, you gave them a hell of a game. Okay, here's your rank. We feel a little bit better. That ought to be the measuring stick now. Ty, you going to get tatted up by the new sponsor? I don't know, man. I have a vicious fear of needles. I'm not even kidding. I hate needles. Heights and needles, man. I was that kid that got stuck on the diving board. The high one. I was that kid that would get stuck up there. And it would take me like 5 minutes of people down in the pool. Jump, you blankety blank. And then finally do it. And then feel humiliated when you're climbing out of the pool. I was that kid, and I was that way with needles. I didn't like needles either. I struggle with it, but I've thought about it. I have. What's up, Haas? How you doing, man? Welcome, moderator Haas. I didn't think I could dislike Dan Orlovsky any worse than he did the Hog game. I'm going to get to that here in a second. That was one of the announcers, right? Was he one of the announcers? We're going to get into that in just a second. Why did Anthony Richardson get all the hype after beating Utah, but KJ has been consistent and never gets the spotlight? Yeah. The thing is, that's hard. He does enough with what he's meant to do within this offense. He does more than enough. He picks this team up on his shoulders and carries it. You're not top 10 a year ago without KJ Jefferson. You're not top 10 this year without KJ Jefferson. I think the thing that they want out of quarterbacks, no matter the offense, is they want those sexy passing numbers. That's what they want. They want those sexy passing numbers. They want those 325, 350, 3, 4, 5 passing touchdowns a game. Great interception or touchdown to interception ratio, which, by the way, KJ has. He just doesn't have the passing yards to back it up. I think that's what they want the most. But we have seen other RPO quarterbacks get way overhyped and KJ get completely just kind of left behind. I don't know. Yes, he's an announcer. Oh, okay. He's an announcer. Okay. What? So he's the guy that called the game. One of the guys that called the game. Come join it. Look at John Hawes doing a little bit of Discord marketing. Look at you go. KJ doesn't get the love because he's not passing for 250. Well, it'd be more than 250 a game these days. Now you got to be in the 325, 375 mark. Offenses are just so bloated now because of all the rule changes and everything. Ash says neither did Richardson. No, he threw for 174 against Utah. Yeah, but you have to understand Utah was ranked much higher, right? It's all about at that point. It's all about what you're seeing on the television screen, and you're seeing that high top 10 rank. You know, yeah, you played Cincinnati, but a lot of people, the storyline will be this isn't the same Cincinnati club from a year ago. Okay, now again, I've laid out what I've thought about Utah. Utah's vastly overrated, but the rest of the country doesn't see it that way. They see it as, oh, look at Florida, they must be great. Let's rank them all the way up to 12th. Doesn't make any sense. But again, Ash, that's the argument that I'm making, right? It matters in the eyes of the people watching the game is that number just to the left of that program name. And they see that win, and they see it as a higher quality win. I'm not saying that KJ doesn't deserve it more. Now he's doing Patreon. Haas, you are a gentleman and a scholar. We were supposed to beat, yeah, exactly, Florida. Yes, Austin hit the nail on the head. We were supposed to beat Cincy. Florida wasn't supposed to beat Utah. That's it right there. Cincy won't lose again this year, says Ellis Home Inspections, LLC. Look at that. I love small businesses getting all up in here. Shout out to Ellis Home Inspections with that LLC next to you. I know what it's like. I've got that too, man. Mad respect for I don't consider myself a small business, by the way. I just got the LLC because I was told there could be some benefits to that. I'm definitely not running. I don't feel like I'm running any small business operation here. Since you don't play anyone, I think they have the talent to be decent in one of the top 2 P5 school conferences. I do. I think they have the talent to be a pain in the ass in a lot of teams. I say a lot. You know, the 50%, right? I would put them in the middle of the Big Ten. I'd probably put them in the middle of the SEC, but kind of towards the back. Like the middle, but the back, right, in the SEC. I think they're a quality team. They shouldn't lose another game. Also, Notre Dame is ass. Yeah, I agree with that. I want to see Malik at quarterback Saturday so Arkansas can handle business early. Well, let's go back really fast because this is supposed to be more of a post game. And listen, the Missouri State stuff will come. We'll talk more about Missouri State on Friday or later on in the week. Where is my notes? Oh, by the way, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to talk about Haas's favorite ESPN. I'm not going to talk about the FBI. Oh man, I'm not going to talk about it. But okay, I'll say something. 99% in favor of Arkansas. If they get this one wrong. Oh, boy. If it's a close game, does it make that FPI wrong? If it's close, then that means the percentage should have been way higher for Missouri State, right? Arkansas bumped all the way up to top 10. How about that? Thoughts on that really quick? I think it does two things here. Or it represents two things, rather. Number one, Arkansas played 2 quality opponents. These are 2 teams. Cincinnati, again, I think their worst case scenario is 10-2, maybe 9-3. I don't know. There are pieces of that defense I'm not super in love with if I'm a Cincy fan, but they, they're good enough that they should be 11-1. 10-2 really should be the absolute basement for them, right? The crawl space under the house. I worked for Terminex in 2004. Let me tell you something. Some of those crawl spaces in Madison County, oh, Lord. Saw dead cats, all sorts of dead animals. It's gross. But they're down there, right? South Carolina, you beat 2 quality teams. again, South Carolina, Cincy, quality opponents. South Carolina is not going to win 10 games. Hell no. Now, they got a long ways to go. Got to fix that offensive line. I really wasn't that. Yeah, their run defense, we knew it was sus when they gave up a couple hundred yards a week before to an opponent that doesn't run the ball like Arkansas does. That was sus, right? There are things about South Carolina that are impressive. I think their run game, it was weird. Like they completely abandoned the run game there for a little while, and then they were like, okay, well, we're going to run the ball. The running back got angry, apparently. I went back and rewatched the game, and I missed that part because I was obviously at the game for the first half, and I was home for the second half, and they talked about that. I want to say it was somewhere in the middle of the second quarter. They talked about how the running back was upset that we're not running the ball enough. Spencer Rattler responded with, okay, well, let's run the ball, and they did, and they actually ran the ball and had some efficiency with it. I don't know that would have worked for them had they kept doing it. Arkansas's run defense has been impressive. But South Carolina decided, you know what, we're going to run the ball on that drive, and they had success. Overall, they did not. Overall, they were stuffed. Let me talk about really quick, speaking of it was the second quarter when you had that targeting call that was overturned. That player absolutely should have been called for targeting on KJ Jefferson. Talked about it with several other media people today. That kind of made me feel better about what I said in the postgame, and I had someone tell me to take my blinders off, to take my Razorback goggles off or whatever. I think I've used that before. I say that quite often. So touche, except you were wrong. And people who've been doing this for a while, have been covering Arkansas football professionally for a while, not a single one. And by the way, these aren't Arkansas fans. A lot of these guys in the media, some of them are, some of them are not. Some of them are, you know what, they got a job here in NWA and they're working for the paper or they're working for whatever. They all, it was pretty funny. I won't say who they were, but we talked about it. Every one of us agreed that was ridiculous. That was targeting. That's not a homer call. That was a player, depending on what angle, if you look at from the side, he clearly looks like he's targeting, he's leading with the helmet, and he makes contact. The first thing to make contact with KJ is the crown of his helmet to the side of KJ's head. That's a concussion. I'm surprised he didn't have one. KJ said he didn't realize it or something. Didn't realize that had happened, and so it was funny. We were talking about that too. One of the media members said, well, yeah, you probably didn't feel that because you might have gotten a concussion. Now, this was today. This wasn't obviously Saturday when they were talking to KJ, but I don't think that's true. I don't know that I've ever had a concussion when I played. I'm sure I did. I don't recall. I never blacked out. I never vomited on the field after a hit, but I definitely had my head wrong, and you knew it, right? So I could imagine. I mean, who knows, man? But that guy led with the crown of his helmet. That's the first thing that makes contact with KJ's head. I'm sorry, but that's targeting. There's no other way to look at it. And talking about those announcers, the guy with the funny ass last name, I'm sorry, bro. I couldn't believe the kind of excuses that were coming out of their mouths, like that KJ was a because he was so big. Like they're making this argument that because KJ's 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", 240, whatever, that what does that mean? So what? Because you're that size, you're like that shouldn't be the call on the field? I don't know. I thought it was bad. I thought the overall officiating was pretty bad. And not saying that because Arkansas was hit with a bunch of penalties. Not saying that because South Carolina got away with murder, because they did. I'm not saying that. It was just overall a very poorly officiated game, and it goes back to my belief that because Arkansas doesn't play in enough high-caliber games, ranked games, because they're typically not ranked, right? Talking about the pre-Pittman years. This year's a little different. This wasn't a big game. South Carolina they got Spencer Rattler, but we're not talking about a ranked opponent. No one's talking about South Carolina as some kind of dark horse playoff team. There's no oomph behind this game. I really think before the season starts, they kind of have an idea, and they're like, okay, we're going to give them the C squad officiate. I really think that's something. There might be something to that. I really think that. I watched plenty of other SEC games, and yeah, don't get me wrong, SEC officiating is still bad all over. I don't disagree with that. But I think Arkansas I don't know what it is, man. And I thought that crew was really bad. I thought there's so many missed hold calls. That hold call on Warren Thompson in the third quarter, I think it was the third quarter, Rocket runs downfield. I don't know. He gets all the way down to like the 2-yard line. I don't know how long of a scamper it was, but it was completely wiped. And they called Warren Thompson for a hold. And now maybe it's the right call. Technically, he was holding him. The question is, was that player, even at that point, is he involved in the play? I have seen far worse holding downfield where a player, a linebacker, safety, a corner, whatever, could make a play and that flag still be in the back of that official's pocket by the end of the play. So in other words, not throwing the flag. I thought that was soft. Yeah, technically he was holding him. I'm not sure that I will argue with that. Maybe I should go back and watch it again. I don't know. It did look to me like he was holding him. My point is, the runner with Rocket was already several yards. He wasn't going to be able to make a play. But they called that back. I think Arkansas's had a couple of big runs called back this year. I think they had one last week against Cincinnati. So many yards left on the field. And then sometimes it hasn't really mattered because they've still turned around and found a way to score. But, yeah, I think the officiating was overall, I think it was D-. And, again, I'm not – you could flip those calls on South Carolina. I would probably still argue that, man, that was bad. Some of those calls on South Carolina were pretty bad. Yeah, you can go on. There's several calls. The PI on oh my gosh, McLaughlin. There's no play to be made on that ball. That ball was overthrown. That receiver, I don't know. That one was at least questionable. It was at least questionable. Now there is an argument to be made. You have to allow the receiver an opportunity to make a play on the ball. The problem is, even if he had on that play, he's not catching that ball, so it's not a catchable ball. They don't throw, and this is the thing too, they don't typically call that unless it's a sideline throw. Sometimes they let that go, right? But if it's in the middle of the field or if it's on like a hash mark, it's a different story. I don't know. The officiating was unstable, I guess is a way of putting it. I just thought it could have been a bit better. Landon Jackson's hand to the face. He was in the dude's chest. That was horrible. It's just a badly officiated game. The holding call kept Rocket from 200 yards. How about the phantom hands? Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. There were a couple of those, and he definitely the way that, if I remember right, the way that rule is called, or the way that is called, is literally your hands have to be pushing up on the face mask or underneath the face mask. Sometimes you make a move and your hand gets caught up right up under their chin strap or over their chin strap, and you're up in their face. They'll call it. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen as often as if you're pushing back. And I understand, if you're doing that, if you're jacking someone's, face mask, if you're just, making some contact there, I guess I kind of understand that call, but I think it's kind of a stupid call. Yeah, it was just not good. Apparently the jersey in the face is his face. Yeah, it made no sense. I'm telling you, man, it was just a poorly officiated game. And one of the media members I was talking with said that they felt like that was a game that the officiating crews they're getting some emails today about this one not being very well. I don't know. Landon Jackson has been a bust. Oh, my God. Oh, man, Johnny Jones, my guy. He's played 2 games. You got to give a guy time to develop. You can't look at 2 games and just say that, well, he's a bust. That's ridiculous. This was Drew Sanders' coming out party. He keeps us up. And let's see, he keeps us up and could be the defensive Heisman representative. They got to learn that once your arms are extended blocking, you got to let go or it'll get called every time. So wait, are you talking about the hands of the face, JD? Because no, that's not how it works. You literally have to have your hands, like you can grab the jersey even when your hands extended, so long as you're not grabbing and pulling, like pulling down stuff like. And even then they let that go. Now I don't know what call you're talking about, but if you're talking about that play, that wasn't hands to the face. That was not hands to the face. And again, that's not something that I don't even think that's debatable. Again, maybe the rule, maybe I read it wrong, but that's not how I interpreted that rule. Ty, we may have a great game with or beat Bama. They still seem to be down. It's going to be interesting in Fayetteville, isn't it? It's going to be interesting. When Dominic gets back, the backfield gets even scarier. He was no doubt the second best. I think he was the second best back a year ago as the year went on. So it will be nice to have him back. The question is if he's full go. And by the way, again, no green jersey today. I don't think he had a knee brace on either today. Am I wrong about that? I don't think he had a knee brace. I don't remember if I took any shots or not. But he looked good. I thought today he looked the best that I've seen him since he's been out of the green jersey. And I've only seen him twice, to be fair, but he looked good today. We also have all these different angles to view the play. The refs don't. So I can see why they thought the hands were in the dude's face. Well, I don't know if that's one of those calls that you can't review it. But we do see them from time to time pick up flags, right? There was no pass interference on the play, right? We see them wave off flags all the time. I don't know why they couldn't wave that one off. Maybe because another official didn't have a good angle on it. I don't know. I think you have to have a clear shot. You have to be able to see it. Just because a guy flings his head backwards, I mean, that shouldn't be enough to warrant a flag. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't be enough. You should have to physically see the hands to the face. I mean, guys do weird stuff with their limbs and their heads all the time in football. Sometimes your body, the way you jerk, the way you react, I think you have to see it happen like a crime. Got to be a little bit of due process here, right? When you're throwing such a costly, they had two costly penalties, both of which, if I remember correctly, I think those happened on the same drive, both of which were suspect, and the officials gifted South Carolina, those plays. Now, Carolina fans, a lot of the rhetoric on Twitter is that Arkansas, was given the benefit of the doubt more often. I would say take a look at the stat sheet, Pit Boss said he's a full go. Which one? Who are you talking about? Slusher or Dominic? Ty, if we're 4-0 going to the Bama game, how much people do you expect to be at the game on October 1st? I think it's going to be a record crowd. I think it's going to be a record crowd. I do. Now, if you lose to A&M, obviously that'll have a pretty significant impact, because A&M is not viewed as a very good team. Especially if A&M loses to Miami. Boy, we might have a whole nother. And see, that's the thing, too, you got to love about Arkansas. Some folks are calling this a trap game with Petrino coming up, by the way. But, I don't know anything about Petrino's team this year. I don't know. Like, I have a stat sheet. We know what his offense. We know what he can do on offense. We know he loves them crossing routes, the curl routes. We know he's good at finding guys open in the passing game. We know that our secondary's not been very good. Right now they're ranked as they're at the very bottom in terms of rank. They're like 128th or something against the pass. They're bad. It's 2 games. I would say don't panic. It's 2 games. They're getting guys in rhythm. They're getting guys that weren't expecting to play as much this early on. They're trying to get them in a rhythm, trying to get them to, play into a role that they weren't expecting to play right out the gate. And they are, and they've kind of been thrown into it. They just got to settle in. And they're getting Slusher back. Now, I do have an update on that. Slusher was not at practice today. I didn't see him. I'm already getting people DMing me their addresses. Yeah, if you're a Patreon supporter or if you're a mod, and Mike, you're both. You're a Patreon supporter and you're an administrator. I got you down, man. I'm gonna run down to the post office. I keep getting people asking me about getting a PO box, and I feel bad. I didn't realize it, but someone had been asking me about getting a PO box for a while, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to respond to the question because I hadn't had I always forget to run by the post office and to see about getting a PO. They're not expensive. I think they're like $5 a month. I don't think they're real expensive. I do need to do that. I've given that a lot of thought. I am a little bit concerned about some of the stuff that people would send me. I don't know why I'm getting. Okay. Yeah. So if you want a sticker, by the way, remember it won't be black, but I'm just showing you what it'll look like. If you want a sticker and you're a Patreon supporter, hit me up in the DMs. I will get those to you. So let me give you some notes from today really quick. I'm going to dive back into this South Carolina game that we had on as far as just the post game. Knox and Brenny, Sam Pittman talked today about that. He said we're going to have to watch them. So I didn't see Brenny as much. I saw Knox. I'm not going to lie to you. He didn't look 100% to me. In fact, I was a little surprised he was kind of out there. He looked to be limping around. Not limping. I don't want to say limping. He wasn't gimpy. He just didn't look 100%. Now, it could be the case of the Mondays. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't real happy that he missed out on Saturday or as much time as he missed out on Saturday with that ankle. He just didn't look 100%, and I'm hoping that he gets over that sooner than later. I'm telling you, though, if he's got to miss, I'm okay with him getting better and getting ready for the A&M game and not playing here. It's a good time for a certain former 4-star tight end to step up. If he doesn't, I wouldn't surprise to see Nathan Bax more involved a little bit. I mean, he's going to have to. He came out Saturday and he played, actually. Maybe Washington, the freshman. Remember, you could play 4 games and not burn your red shirt now. It's getting ridiculous. Eventually, we're going to get to a point where you could play half the season and we're not going to burn your red shirt. But I think they did that. I think they changed that rule in 2020. And I think they did it because of COVID. Someone, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but no Bishop, no Slusher today. Bishop is not going to be ready to go on Saturday. Dominic Johnson, I'm pretty sure, was cleared. He will be full go. I think they're expecting Slusher to be available on Saturday, but he just didn't practice today. We'll see if he's out there tomorrow. And then we don't get access Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We won't. The media is not allowed. So, yeah, Knox a little – again, I don't want to say the word gimpy, but he just – I don't know. I was kind of surprised. He looked to be trying to step into that foot a little bit, trying to – I don't know. I don't know what you call it. Have you ever had an injury and you're like where maybe you hurt your finger, you jam your finger and you try to apply pressure to it just to see how much it hurts. I do that all the time. If I've got if I stub my toe, I'll do this thing where a minute later after that severe pain is gone, I'll go back and I try to press down on that toe to see if it still hurts. It looked like he was doing a little bit of that. I don't think it's a big deal. They didn't have him, they weren't really. I don't think if they're letting him out there, I don't think they're really too concerned about it. But it might be a good idea to let someone else step up this weekend at tight end. A&M quarterback situation shaky. They scored 1 offensive touchdown against App State. Petrino's offense struggled with Central Arkansas. Yeah, they did. So I watched his presser from today, and he didn't have a lot of positive things to say about his defense. I'll say that. I know Missouri State played Oklahoma State pretty close last year. They did. They did indeed. Wait, I thought I seen. Yeah, he played Saturday. He banged up. He hurt his ankle, and he came back out and played after, but he was limited. And we saw Nathan Bax come out and play. The D-line leading the SEC in sacks is surprising. Yeah. They were I'm telling you, man, Drew Sanders has been really fun to watch. Like every single game, like every snap on defense, I'm waiting to see what he's going to do. He's a great open field tackler, right? He's good as an assisted tackler. He'll come in, he'll help you clean up, right? I try to watch him on coverage, but I always find myself watching the secondary just because I'm always so concerned about what's about to happen. But he's just got a motor on him. I haven't seen him take I don't see him with his hands on his hips very often. Very often. Everybody does it. We're all guilty of it. Come on. But he makes plays. He had 11 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. He had a pass breakup, a quarterback hurry. He had some forced fumbles. I mean, the dude was insane. I'm starting to think that his overall, if you play NCAA football revamped and you've got your updated roster, I'm starting to think that Sanders should be the highest rated defensive player. I had Bumper Pool at like 90. I'm thinking Drew Sanders right now, the way he's playing, he's got to be in the 90s. I mean, he's just been fantastic. Bumper had 7 tackles. I think he has 20 on the season. He had a sack. They had 6 sacks in that game. 9 tackles for loss. Going back and looking at KJ's performance, I watched every single throw. I might have kind of briefly missed on a couple, but one of his misses, I would argue 2 of his throws were just shouldn't have done it, right? Like, oh, why didn't you hold on to the ball there? Why didn't you do something else? Almost threw a pick. I think his target was Katron Jackson on that throw, and but that ball wasn't going to be caught in bounds. It was caught out of bounds. But he had maybe 2 just throws where you were like, ooh, don't do that, right? Then one of his incompletions was just completely on Matt Landers, who would have had a 5th catch, would have put him over, 60, 65 yards, and that was going to be a score. That was good. That could have been. I think he would have scored on that play. That was a huge drop. But I don't want to bury into the guy because of one drop. I was so impressed with him. He has so much speed, man. For someone that long, that size, that kind of speed and athleticism, my guy. He could do. I'm telling you guys. He and I think Warren Thompson, Jaden Hazelwood. These three could be absolute, I don't know, insert whatever. You can call them ballers, terrorizers, I don't know, make you piss your pants if you're in the secondary. Like that's what they have the capability of being. And then you splash in a little Katron Jackson. And then you throw in, Trey Knox in the passing game, assuming he could stay healthy. Only 1 catch, 5 yards. Katron did have a catch for 7 yards. Malik Hornsby on him and Hazelwood on these end rounds. I'm telling you, one of those two are going to break. They're going to break it open. I am just so impressed with this offense right now. I am so impressed. They look so much better than the 2 previous years through these 2 games, and you consider the quality of opponents here. Especially if we look back and maybe South Carolina is better than we thought. I don't think that happens. I think they end up about 7-5. Again, they just have too many things they need to work on. They have some ballers. They got guys that could be a problem. Wells is gonna eat. He's gonna eat. I liked him and Lloyd, as a matter of fact, in the passing game. But Marshawn Lloyd also carried the ball 7 times, 23 yards. They have guys that just can take on multiple roles on offense, and they've got some guys, man. They've got some dudes on that offense. The problem is their O-line. Spencer Rattler is so shaky out of the pocket. There was definitely some bad. I know someone's going to come along, call me a sunshine pumper, whatever. It's funny. I'm either too negative or too much of a sunshine pumper. But what I saw on offense, though, I really liked, because I think South Carolina on defense could be pretty good. Now, they're going to have a game where they're probably going to get dunked on or they're going to get curb stomped. I look at, Georgia, Tennessee, maybe Kentucky. Like, these are going to be games where they probably give up a lot of points. Then again, with the way this year's going so far, maybe not. Their X factor is it's their head coach playing Beamer ball, and it's Spencer Rattler. Like, if Rattler has a good game, he's capable of racking up 375 like he did against Arkansas. He had 376. He's gonna turn the ball over once or twice or 3 times. But I think he has it in him to be a guy that is at least a decent week-to-week quarterback in this league. I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm not saying that at all. I wouldn't even put him in the top 5 right now. Not that impressed with him. He'd be floating around the middle of the SEC because that's what he is. He's not surrounded with 4- and 5-star talent like he was at Oklahoma. He's got some pieces. They got dudes, but they've got a lot that needs to get fixed before we talk about South Carolina going on and winning, 8, 9, 10 games. They've got a long ways to go. But I think these are both quality opponents. Cincinnati, when you figure out, okay, sure, defensively they're not the same unit. They're not, but they still have really solid pieces. I think they are a mid-tier P5 program who will be flirting around with being ranked, if not probably ranked, most of, if not the entire year at some point when they go on a win streak. They'll start to go back up and rank. Maybe. We'll see. They don't have a very strong schedule. That's the thing that's holding them back. But I think, again, if you put them in the pack, I think that's a strong 9-3, 8-4, 9-3 caliber team, right? ACC, about the same. Big 12, about the same. Big 10, they're going to be a little bit floating near the back based on what I've seen. SEC, they're probably bottom 6. They're probably at the back end in the middle of this conference. But they're a quality opponent. Anyone that's good enough to make a bowl game in P5 is I would say at least a quality opponent. Not a high quality, not a really good team, just a quality opponent. And I think Cincy, if they were in the SEC, they would make a bowl game. I do. I think they would. So when you factor in everything that they've been up against, what they've seen, the negative so far for me through 2 games is I'm not seeing a lot of adjustments by the defense in the second half. I mean, once again, they're giving up. They've given up double-digit points. Well, actually, they gave up 21 points in the second half. We're not. They're starting off really strong. They gave up a touchdown and a field goal in the first half. Again, that touchdown, we can debate what they got away with on that drive or what kind of the bullshit calls on Arkansas that aided them. But, yeah, the second half, they're giving up too many points. I'm not seeing a lot of adjustments by the defense in the second half. I'm seeing the middle of the field. I'm so glad that they talked about it on air during the game. I'm glad that Sam Pittman, I think that was one of the last questions he was asked, about the middle of that field being so wide open. Now, some of that I think is by design. And I think that because we've seen this the last 2 years, and what's the thing that Arkansas did, especially in the beginning of those seasons, the first half of the year, you could run a damn semi-truck, 2 of them side by side in the middle of that defense. What did they do? They forced incompletions, or they swarmed to the ball, and it ended up being very minimal yards over the middle. Now it's like you're getting gassed for 8, 10, 12, 15, sometimes more yards downfield. You're giving up a touchdown. That 60-something yarder on 3rd down and long just still eats me up. Oh, my God, that eats me up. I think that was a little bit of busted coverage on top of there being a gap in that zone. But, yeah, the middle of that field is just too wide open. They're not crashing down like we've seen them do in the past. I think they fixed that. Odom has a we've seen him be able to kind of correct some of those kind of things as the year goes on, but also injuries start to pile up, and then it kind of doesn't matter at that point. Okay, they fixed this one thing, but now, teams are having no problem rushing off the right side because, they've got injuries racked up over here, and you've got some 3rd or 4th string, you got some freshman over here or some guy that shouldn't be playing. Now they're just running down your throat off the right side of the line of scrimmage. The X factor for Arkansas on defense, without a doubt, has been Sanders. Again, your Walter Camp National Player of the Week. The dude was just incredible, man. Like I said a minute ago, he's so fun to watch. He's so fun to watch on defense. And Bumper Pool, too, who, by the way, had a sack, right? I think I said that earlier. The defense has issues, but man, have they stepped it up. And, I'm glad we're seeing more multiple looks up front on defense. We're seeing multiple looks up front. If they feel comfortable with the 4-man front, they'll roll the 4-man front. Right? If they want to switch it up, maybe they want to play a little bit more containment or outside containment, or they want to try and go a little bit more heavy with a little bit more speed on the field in the secondary. They do a lot of man coverage on the back end of the defense too. Petrino's probably licking his chops at that. I'm not even lying. The back end of that defense, a lot of man coverage, but that probably explains some of the gap issues too you have in that in the middle of that defense at times. But the different looks up front, they're more aggressive. They're doing things that they weren't able to do the last 2 years on defense. The downside is it's like you've swapped that for your secondary that's just struggling. I don't think Hudson Clark deserves all the hate that he gets. I don't. I think he's proven that he has gotten better. He was, without a doubt, maybe one of the best. He was one of the top 3 players all through fall camp. Don't take my word for it. Listen to anybody else that was there. I was there. I think I missed 2 days of fall camp. He stood out. He got beat. Yeah, Warren Thompson, took his legs out from underneath him. Broke his ankles off an Allen Iverson type move coming off the line of scrimmage on one-on-ones. Just broke his ankles. It was vicious. Made a great play. But other than that, he was solid. He was tied for the most interceptions through camp. He did looked a little bit improved on man coverage. But the thing that always showed itself, and Otis Kirk and I talked a lot about this, he is still not very fast. But he checks all the other boxes. You can't coach speed. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't coach speed. It just is what it is. You think Catalan will stay? No, Catalan's done. They've already he's gone. PFF grade. Oh, you're talking about next year. Sorry. I think he's gone. I think he's going pro. I don't know why he would come back and risk it again. PFF grade. Hudson the best DB in that game. Yeah, he is better. And I think he makes a couple of bad plays. Everyone's all over him. Bishop week 1, oh my God, was not good. And yet Clark gives up a play. You don't hear anything about Bishop, but it's all about Clark. You don't hear anything about Simeon Blair getting lost in the secondary. I think there was a play where he was supposed to be helping Hudson Clark over the top. No one talks about that. They want to blame Hudson Clark every time. I'll sit here and tell you he's not fast. He's going to get beat. I've told you that all off season. But it's like we also have to give him credit when he does good. And that's something I think I think I do pretty well here. If you do good, I'm going to praise you. If you're bad, I'm going to call it out. I think he has improved. Now how much? I don't know. I'm not calling him a draft pick. I'm not saying he's the best corner in the NFL or in the SEC. I'm not saying that, but he has improved. He can't go pro. He's barely got tape. Yeah, okay. Listen, you're saying that as a fan. Although I agree with you, he doesn't have a lot of tape. But you're not thinking like a 20-year-old, how old is Catalan? 20, 21-year-old young man. He thinks there's a possibility of making some money. I of course, I would recommend, dude, go get more film. You need to complete a season. But at the same time, we've seen the NFL draft guys that are highly suspect in terms of injuries. We've seen it happen before, and that's probably I can't. I'm not saying that this is happening. I'm not. Don't quote me on this, but it wouldn't shock me if he's got people around him telling him like, look, man, don't come back. You're risking it. You're risking. I think it's his. What the hell is it that he's having problems with? It's his other. Is it his? It's upper. It's upper here. It's up here, right? Collarbone or something. I don't know. Labrum. Am I saying that right? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Don't expect me to know. But he is going to require surgery. There's going to be rehab time from that, right? I get it. I don't know that I wouldn't do the same thing if he does go pro. Now, I'm not confirming that. He's not said that he's going pro. No one around him has said he's going pro. No one else in the media is reporting that he's going pro. He may not be. I don't know. I feel like if you're asking me, like, all right, put 10 grand down on either he's coming back or he's not. Where are you rolling? I'm going to say he's not. Why risk it? Rarely misses tackles, too. Who are you talking about? Oh, Hudson Clark rarely misses tackles. He has missed a couple more this year. I have noticed that. He has missed more tackles, but I think that's more about how they practice. Dudley Dawson talked about that with me on the postgame show. It's showing that they didn't put there was no emphasis on. Well, I say there's no emphasis. That's me just saying that out loud. It didn't seem like they put an emphasis on being physical through fall camp. They didn't tackle to the ground. You remember they were talking about their, they weren't tackling guys to the ground. Sam Pittman wouldn't comment really on it. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. That was kind of what he would say. I think it's showing, and Hudson Clark I think he's missing tackles because of that. Catalan has only played 1 year. How can you say he's an all-time great safety? Who said that? Who says he's an all-time great safety? He's a really good safety. I don't know that he has the tape or enough time under his belt to say he's an all-time great safety. There's just not enough there. I don't know who you're talking to. I'm assuming you're talking to someone in chat. I heard Pittman say Day was hurt. I don't know what happened to Bishop, but he will not be playing Saturday, so you're going to see McLaughlin. I guess we'll have HCAT. Third quarter has been a problem for the defense. Well, the whole second half has. I understand what you're saying. He'll have yes men around him. Maybe if he's at Alabama or Georgia, he would get drafted. But you're right. If I'm thinking like Catalan, probably he'll leave. Yeah, I think he should come back. I do. Like, you've got to prove that you could play an entire season. And I know he played in 2020. I know he played. And hell, even that year, I think he missed a game. If I remember correctly, I think he got injured his redshirt freshman year. He was a part of that 2019 class, if I remember right. I always forget. That was his era, right? But I don't know, man. I don't know that he's really shown that he's a durable defensive back. Hasn't he had injuries? Yeah, since high school he has. He's had injuries all the way back to high school. I think he missed something like half of his senior season because of injuries. So at the same time, I can't blame him for maybe taking the money and running. Take it while you can. Or you come back next year and you risk further injury and you won't ever have a shot at making any money. I get it. I just think it'd be wise for him to come back and show that, you know what, not only am I an All-American caliber player, I can live up to it and I can stay healthy all through the season. Do you think Slusher plays or wait another week? I would recommend waiting. I don't know what they do with him. I knowing Pittman, he's going to get him back out there just to get him back in the throw of things, just to get him back in that rhythm. I think he should hold off. If it's me, I get it. It's you don't want to overlook Bobby Petrino, and I'm not trying to. I'm just looking further ahead at in-conference play. Listen, if you lose because Slusher's not out there, you've got bigger problems than Slusher not playing in that game. All right? I think we can all agree with that. If you lose because you don't have Miles Slusher out on the field, then you have bigger problems. Right? Yeah, bigger problems than him just not playing. And they have problems in the secondary. But I don't know, man. But knowing Pittman, he'll play him. He'll play him. I can almost guarantee. I feel like he's going to play him. No doubt major talent when he's on the field, but best ability is availability. Oh, that's very, very well said, actually. I never got a response from I never got a response from Cade. He said, Catalan has only played 1 year. How can you say he's an all-time great safety? I never say he's an all-time great safety. I'm looking for a response on that. I don't know if he was talking to me or somebody else. I did say he's an All-American caliber because he is, because he's been one. He has the potential to be that Steve Atwater. I mean, he really does. He has it in him to be a legend at Arkansas. That dude was just a playmaker. Before he got hurt, he had something like 8 tackles in the first half against Cincinnati. And the same thing last year up until A&M. He was killing it. He was killing it. He was a great defensive back. Always around the ball. Always causing problems. Physical. You know, he played like he was 6'4", 250, laying the smack down. Smacking them dudes around. He played so physical. Forced fumbles, incompletions, picked you off. He was a baller. He just can't stay healthy. You know, it's almost like, and you know, these front offices in the NFL, man, these guys, they do their homework most of the time. But they're paid to watch a lot of film. And you know, they'll look back at some of his film from last year in 2020 as well. And they're going to see a guy that, damn, he's got some potential. Like, do we roll the dice on him? Maybe not. I don't know. Let Slesher rest, get our other guys some reps. I agree, Josh. I agree 110%. Wait, Josh. Hold up. Josh Garr. You don't are you in our Discord by chance? I mean, that's a reasonable take out of you. So if this is the same Josh, I don't see very many people in our chat named Josh. But we do have one in Discord. Man, sometimes guys, when they get hurt, they'll never be the same after it. But others like Burks, who wasn't supposed to play football anymore after ACL. Yeah, some guys are built different. I agree. The last thing I'll say about this game, kind of doing another look. Again, the offense, I'm just really digging what's going on. I mean, they're going to be able to impose their will. They're going to be able to impose their will on a lot of teams this year. And what's crazy is they've got guys behind their starters on the offensive line that I'm just as excited about. Crawford, I'm excited for Tykees Crawford. I think eventually we're going to he's pushing to start, and you're talking about guys with a lot of experience. You know, Dalton Wagner's off. Honestly, I think Wagner's having a pretty good year. I did notice left tackle Luke Jones, I think, has given up 2 sacks through 2 games. I would love to find out. You know, I went back and I watched the game yesterday and today, mostly today. Went back and watched it. Luke Jones absolutely gave up at least a sack in this game, maybe 2. And I think he gave up 1 against Cincy. So he's either got 2 or 3 sacks that he's given up. Now, stats on that are rough. Sometimes how they look at that, if you're able to find sacks given up stats, sometimes, you know, I don't know. They're not always the most accurate. It's kind of like pancake blocking and stuff like it's not always super accurate. But I would say go back and watch. I would love to. I want to kind of rub elbows with some more media people tomorrow and ask them about, you know, how they would assess Luke Jones's performance so far. I don't think he's been bad. I really don't. I think other than the 2 sacks that I'm pretty sure he gave up, I know he gave up at least 1 against South Carolina. I'll have to go back and watch again if I get the opportunity to this week. But I think he's done a pretty damn good job. He gets plenty of push when he's run blocking. He looks quick at that left tackle, or at least technically speaking, he looks like he's not lost out there, and he doesn't look to be huffing and puffing too much. You know, he's not. I don't see him panicking. I don't see them panicking about him over there. We're not hearing that yet. That's not a narrative that's being spun in the media anywhere. But I do think he has given up, you know, some pressures on KJ and at least a couple of sacks, at the very least 1. You'd be fine with 1, 2 at this point in the season. You're kind of going, well, okay, we might need to take a look at that, see what's going on, see if we can't fix what he's doing over there. But I think the offensive line is in such good shape right now. Stay healthy. You don't want Stromberg obviously getting dinged up. You don't want him missing time. The running backs, oh my God. Someone in the media today, some national media blue check marker, not that those mean anything anymore, but someone, I think it was it Dennis Dodd, put Rocket Sanders on his short list for Heisman candidates, put him in the top 5. You know what? I'm going to say this. I'm not willing to change my 8-4 prediction yet. I'm sticking with it right now. That could change, obviously, after A&M. If you lose to A&M at this point, yeah, I'm definitely not moving off 8-4. Not a chance if you lose to A&M, because I'm not impressed with them at all. And that's not simply because they lost that game. But if you've watched them play this year, their offense is abysmal. Their defense can make plays. Their defense can be physical. Their defense has some speed and all sorts of stuff going on. There's some positives. But that offense is atrocious. But I will say you're at a point now where maybe you need to start thinking about padding stats. Maybe, and I know that's not part of Sam Pittman's game. But if you really are a playoff contender, maybe you need to let it rain against Petrino. Rack that score up. And you could kind of celebrate that two different ways, right? Like, the guy that, did all that crap and screwed over the university. Now I don't know that I fully buy into that exactly, but I do think Jeff Long and Petrino certainly did a lot of wrong things while he was here. But you can kind of look at it like that, like for the hardcore anti-Petrino people, a middle finger to him. Oh, and by the way, you're padding your stats. Now, it won't do anything for you against that team, but maybe that needs to be your mindset from here on out. If you want to make that playoff, if you're a legit playoff contender, maybe you need to think about starting to pad those stats and run up scores. Do the thing that everyone else does, the thing that pops off on the screen. What is it? What's the thing where you're like, oh my God? It's when you see Alabama 54, a bowl eligible, I don't know, insert Mississippi State, whoever, 20, 24, 62-17, right? That's the stuff that grabs your attention. Now, yeah, this week's not going to really matter, but do it anyways, because you damn sure don't want it to look like a close game. You don't want it to actually cost you. And let's say you do lose a close game to Alabama, but you're 11-1 at the end of the year, but they're undefeated. But if they beat, let's say it's a 2-loss or 1 or 2-loss Georgia team, I don't think that happens, but let's say that's the case. Well, now you're comparing strength of schedule, and you're looking at some of those scores. That's how this has always been played out, even during the BCS era. Teams racked up points to look better on paper, and it got worse during the playoff era. I think that's something that you have to consider if you're Sam Pittman. Pad those stats, run up scores, have all-American type numbers when you're looking at the stat sheet. I don't know, man. Yeah, you don't want to do it at the risk of hurting anybody. I'm not saying you keep KJ out there for 4 quarters running up and down the field on those guys. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you just don't let off the gas. I'm saying you don't let off the accelerator. I say you keep being aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. Keep doing the things that are right. You might swap out personnel, and doing that, yeah, you're probably going to give up points. And on the offensive side of the board, you're probably going to struggle to get points when you do that, when you swap out your ones with your twos. But maybe you don't let off the gas. Is Arkansas good enough to do that week in and week out? Are they good enough to run up the score on someone like A&M? And I say that like A&M's some kind of big threat. Look, they're still A&M. I mean, I don't know what to make of that. I mean, that loss to Appalachian State is just ridiculous, right? Like as the kind of money that Jimbo makes, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Are they a bowl eligible team? I think they are. What does that mean when the dust settles? Where is A&M in all this? I don't know. But light the tires and kick the fires, Daddy. Kick some ass. Run up the score. Pad those stats. Do what everybody else does. Get out of the mindset of I'm a good old boy and I'm just going to take it easy on them. We already won the game. Maybe that doesn't get you to the playoffs if you're sitting at 10-2, 11-1, and you have an opportunity to get into the playoffs. Maybe you need to run up the score. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm probably wrong. Dominic Johnson getting carries this week. I don't know. I'm telling you, I kind of hope they rest everybody that needs it. We're trying to win the Natty now. We've moved on from that. I want to see a game where we sling it. Well, that's just not really their design, though. They want to beat the hell out of you on the ground. They really, if it were up to Kendall in this offense, he's going to do whatever it takes to win, but it's going to happen with the run. KJ needs a 300-plus yard game. This game could be prime for him to stat pad. I really like Pittman's presser from today. For those who haven't watched, I recommend. Yeah, I saw you in Discord. You recommended it in Discord too. You're right. It was good. He looked at the end of that thing. He looked tired. He looked like he hadn't slept much. Love them Hogs. Woo Pig Suey. All the way from Dallas, Texas. Lorenzo Applewhite. All right. I do appreciate you guys on this Monday night out of nowhere live stream. I know I'm gonna get people upset that I didn't do this. Part of the reason why this was unplanned is because I just don't know. I don't know, being with Hogville, my availability when it comes to, like these practices. Like today, practice wasn't until almost 5 o'clock. In previous weeks, it was at 4 o'clock. So you have that hour there, and you think about it we got to make dinner. We've got our daughter, we got to take her to math tutoring. She goes to Kumon on Mondays and Thursdays. So I have to we have to work around things, and that's kind of why it's been hard for me to set a schedule. And sometimes I just don't have time to go live. If it were up to me, I'd try to go live 5 days a week. It'd be tough. I don't know what the hell we'd talk about for 5 days a week, but is there a chance tickets will get cheaper as the week goes on? Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know, Gavin. You might. I don't know. Probably not. My guess is it might go the other way around. Neck braces and drunk individuals at this game on Saturday, and I'm really excited for it. I'm gonna be out there, man. I don't know if John, our cameraman's our photographer, I should say. I don't know if he's a good guy. Talked to him for a little bit today. He's a good dude. I like John. Does a great job. I think he's gonna go with me, and we're gonna go. We're gonna, we're gonna take footage of the tailgates again, and we want to get. I have an idea for getting the best Bobby Petrino cosplay. I feel dirty saying that. The best one that we see, we kind of pick a winner. I kind of have that envisioned in my mind, and we'll pick a winner. And we'll post the picture. So if you're at a tailgate, or if you know someone that's going to do the whole neck collar with the hat and the bruised up face from the motorcycle accident, hit me up. Ty, he's going to be over here. Go check him out. I'm going to be disappointed if I don't see enough neck braces on Saturday. I think they're going to be everywhere, and it's going to be so much fun. If you're not going to the game, I guess it's on ESPN Plus. Is that right? ESPN or SEC Network Plus, 6 p.m. It's going to be a late one. And Texas A&M got a game time too. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but 6 p.m. for Texas A&M on the 24th. And then October 1st, you got the big one. A&M's big. A&M's whether you think they're good or not, I don't know. But that is really, you got to feel like that is still a big game. It's neutral site. Really, it's their backyard if we're being honest. I know plenty of people that have gone, and they all say the same thing. It is overwhelmingly A&M fans outside of a couple of years when Arkansas was ranked and really good. Maybe that'll be the case this year. Arkansas right now clearly looks like the better team. Texas and Miami might be worth watching. I'll probably watch it. I'm rooting on. I want A&M to win that game because I want them to at least – I don't know. Do you want them to lose? I'd be okay with them losing out. I'm just saying, for our sake, for the Razorbacks' sake, I want them to. I didn't want them to lose last week either. I wanted to break their hearts. I wanted to go in there and break their hearts again. I wanted to whoop that ass. But their hearts have already been broken. But it's still kind of fun to watch, right? All right. Is there the price going up for them Hogs, baby? Yeah, they really are. Make sure you guys have subscribed. Share the content, please. Share it, copy and paste, send it to a family member. This guy is awesome. Also, go check out hogville.net, latest and greatest from the greatest, free on hogville.net. You can become a member for free as well. And if you're a Patreon supporter, shout out to you. Remember to send me your address if you want one of these stickers. We got to make more. Time frame is kind of, we got the cricket out. We got to make some more. I think we need some more material. But yeah, if you guys want one, here they are. Right? It's going to be white. We're just using the black to show you what it looks like, but there's the white. You can't see it, but there you go. If you want one and you're a Patreon supporter, send me your address and I'll send it to you. All right. So I'm not putting anything past. Yeah, you can't overlook. You especially can't overlook A&M. Definitely, I agree. So I will see you guys either here or on Hogville Net, YouTube, one of those two places. Eventually, again this week, maybe tomorrow. Could be as early as tomorrow or Wednesday. Dudley Dawson and I will be doing a pre-snap look at Bobby Petrino and his Missouri State football team. So we'll take a glance at that together. All right. Woo pig, and I'll see you guys later on. Go Hogs.